Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, take a moment right now and just imagine how great you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance, and I can tell you it's a very happy life. And so can my friend Kris Sherrod. He's my guest star today, and he's here to share his unique and distinct journey to his life of significance. Hey Kris, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Right on. So just take a minute and tell us what you're doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world.
All right. So currently, I have an organization called Breadwinners that I really wanted to take on full time and start getting out and spreading financial literacy, which is my passion. It started on the college campuses. I started taking it into middle schools and high schools and just trying to get out the financial literacy of investing, taxes, budgeting, things of that nature, really leading up to generational wealth and financial freedom as well, which I think leads people to a form of spiritual freedom. So I'm really doing that. I got into day trading just to be able to fund myself and be able to go into these schools that may not even be able to afford to bring me and pay me for my services and things like that, as well as working as a freelance financial consultant. I still currently do utilize my financial services to serve even some of my father's clients with their investments and things of that nature as well.
Very good. All right, Kris, let's have some fun with mathematics, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
Let our friends across the World Wide Web get to know you through the equation of our happy formula. It's simple, but it's very powerful. Capacity plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with capacity. What are your practices for building your personal capacity, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, Kris, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the capacity you need to take good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to be a giver to others?
Absolutely. Yeah, those are actually categories I try to get to every single day. So physically, I'm definitely trying to make sure I get at least a workout, 1 or 2 workouts, at least 5 days a week, as well as stretching and occasionally doing yoga. As far as spiritually, I like to start the day trying to enhance my spiritual health to make sure I'm staying in balance and just being as much of an impact to positive impacts to the people around me by starting the day out with meditation, scripture, as well as devotionals, doing devotionals with, I do a devotional with my girlfriend, as well as I have a devotional group that I do it with a few of my male friends as well. And then as far as emotionally and mentally, emotionally, I try to take time to self-reflect, just on the things I'm going through in life. Also, it's taking time to express myself to my friends as well, making sure I just don't bottle things up, bottle too many emotions up, because you can take that out on the wrong people if you do that. And as far as mentally, I definitely try to make sure I'm trying to read at least one book a month, and then also trying to just continue to invest in myself and invest in my knowledge as well. So. And financially, of course, continuing to invest in myself, continue to invest in assets that are going to continue to free me over time. So definitely just trying to make sure I do those things daily as well as monthly to continue to enhance myself.
Yeah. So let's dive into one of my favorite capacity building concepts. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And you'll recognize this for sure as a financial guy. It's a beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. A Kaizen state of mind is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than I did today. And I love it because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. It's very optimistic. It creates this gentle, powerful, continuously uplifting of my life day after day after day. So Kris, how does a Kaizen state of mind help you to increase your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Just continuing to honestly do those, I try to do those things. And that's why I have a strong focus to grow in those areas you speak of physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I try to grow in those areas daily because 1% growing 1% daily are always going to add up. So I'm continually trying to just invest in myself, because at the end of the day, even you can investments, there's investments and over time they're going to grow, but you can invest in something financially and it'd be down the next year. But I found that honestly, if I continue to invest in myself, I'm pretty much always going to be better than I was the year before. So I just want to continue building on that.
Yeah, and just imagine where you'll be when you're my age, my friend.
God willing, absolutely.
All right, so let's move on to purpose, the second element of the happy formula. And Kris, I've observed that major life transformations or discovery of purpose often comes from devastation, addictions, disease, death, disaster, some horrible, awful crisis strips a life to its core. However, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share a process, a transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration.
Mhm.
How about you, Kris? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
I don't think it was a specific moment. I do remember the specific moment that kind of birthed the thing that did kind of give me purpose, which was Breadwinners. I remember that my friend calling me on the phone, and just he randomly called me. I remember it was December 23rd, the semester before I was about to graduate. He called me, asked me what kind about. I was in a lot of organizations on campus. He asked me about the organizations I was in. I was in a lot of business organizations because I have a finance degree, and he was asking like what we do in those business organizations. I'm like, mostly resumes, like learning how to do what to do in an interview, things of that nature. He was like, so no financial literacy? And I'm like, no, actually none of them speak on that. And he was like, we should start one. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So
Hmm.
I started it and really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but it really birthed something really deep inside of me. As I started holding those meetings and having the people come up to me and just telling me how much it meant to them. And that's really kind of how I got into it, honestly. And really, I really did find purpose through it.
Were you interested in finance before that, or was that actually kind of out of the blue? And then as you started getting into it, you got more interested?
I was interested in I was interested in finance. I was fascinated by it because I grew up and I didn't have everything I wanted. I wasn't well, my family wasn't super wealthy or anything, but I had what I needed growing up, and growing up and seeing the different. I got to see a lot of different dynamics, having a lot of friends in different areas, a lot of projects and just impoverished areas. So when I got to college, it kind of put a fascination about the dollar, because I started realizing how much the world revolves around it. So that's kind of actually why I got to be a finance major, because I was naturally good at math. My parents were actually math majors. My brother was a math major, but I knew finance kind of tied in math and that and money, and I wanted to learn more about money. But financial literacy, I didn't really learn about and how much it meant until I started actually learning about how to teach it. So that's when that kind of birthed that.
Now, I want you to talk just quickly about this idea because you and your partner had this young idea and you
Mhm.
started to breathe life into it. But meanwhile, you had lots of other responsibilities and things you had to take care
Absolutely.
of. And you still do. You're still working and juggling and trying to make all your ends meet and do this thing, create this thing that you love. So, I've developed something I call the have to want to ratio.
Mhm.
And the have to want to ratio is maybe when you guys first had the idea, you wanted to work on it full time.
Yeah.
You had to go to school and you had to do all these other things. So maybe your want to have to ratio is 99% have to, 1% want to. But
Mhm.
over time, you can keep working on it to keep flipping that ratio. So talk a little bit about how that's applied to the growth of your company.
Absolutely. So when we were originally starting, it was kind of just, it was something that we were doing, and we were kind of we're still investing our time, so much of our time into other things. But as we started growing and just seeing the impact that it was having, it just, the burning desire just to continue to impact and help people's lives kind of grows more and more and more. And so you kind of just, you realize that you have these other things in life that are going on, but you also realize you have something in life that you feel like you're sitting here to do. And that's kind of what it started to feeling like for me. It kind of feel like, oh, this isn't just something that I'm doing. This is something that I'm actually supposed to be doing. So when you kind of start feeling that, it kind of is, it's a difference to it for sure.
And doesn't it make all the stuff that you have to do more meaningful because you're going through that for this purpose?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's something that pushes you because
Yeah.
it's anybody can honestly just can get over a tough day if they're looking forward to a abundant tomorrow.
Yeah. Right on. All right, Kris, let's take a quick break to let our sponsors spread a little love with our listeners.
Absolutely.
If you have more ideas than actions, if you have more promises than change, if you're ready for the life you are meant to live, then TI2A is the book for you. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant show, and I'm your happy host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Kris Sherrod. He's the financially lit motivational mentor and co-founder of the Breadwinners, a business dedicated to shifting the outlook of money for millennials from a short-term reactive mindset to a long-term strategic one. I love that. And Kris, I also love this article called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. I found it on lifescience.com, and it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on this planet. It says that science supports the notion that giving of one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and transcending difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in their lives. So I updated our formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. What do you think, Kris? From your experience, have you found that giving your time and your talents and your treasure has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's no, you can't put a price on the ability to be able to give somebody something, and be able to make them feel something, especially opportunity. Because even when I go into schools, even with the last opportunity I went to with Miss Libby, when we went to South Mecklenburg High School, and speaking of those students, of course, there's a few students that you're not going to be able to get through to everybody, and you honestly don't even know who you're necessarily getting through to. So that's why you want to just continue to stay engaged. But of course, there are going to be a few students that are very, very listening intentionally, at coming up to you, asking you questions, asking you, telling you thank you. There's a few people actually asking how to get started, how to invest, and things like that. And I just know, if I would have had that information and had that opportunity and what they're potentially able to do with it, it's amazing. It's nothing that I can really put a number on at the end of the day. It's honestly planting trees of shade that I probably won't ever be able to sit under. So
I love that. And that's the science of it, that giving actually gives to the giver. I couldn't agree more. I love the wonderful feeling that comes from that fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others. And I know from my own experience, the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more, as you were talking about. But there's more to it than that. It's not just the giving that's magical. Kris, what I've been exploring and learning and experiencing too is it's when you're giving from living in your purpose. That's where you find the real magic. So tell us, Kris, how does it make you feel when you're happily living your life and giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, and the people around you have taken notice? The people you're impacting by the life you're living are saying things like this: Kris is a person you'll remember for the rest of your life. Smart, hardworking, always willing to help, easy to get along with. Kris really is a motivating, energetic person, and the pride he takes in his work is truly inspiring. He has a humble, motivated, and giving spirit. While Kris has many qualities that set him apart, the one that speaks volumes about his character is his desire and devotion to serving others in the area of financial literacy. Kris is an all-star. A passion for investing and finance and empowering others. Kris is very motivated and super determined when it comes to helping his community and bettering himself. He's a great representation of our young black men and women, that anything you want to do just takes hard work, but it is achievable. Just a few more. Genuine, spirited, faith-based, selfless. Kris wants success not only for himself, but really enjoys seeing others around him succeed as well. And finally, this one's going to put a little pressure on you, Kris. Kind, intelligent. I'm sure he'll bring a lot of great gems to your podcast. So, my friend, tell us, how does all that make you feel?
Are those real quotes?
Real quotes.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm kind of overwhelmed. Wow. That's I'm a little speechless. Honestly, I really appreciate all of those words, and it's just a big sign to keep going. Honestly, it's an amazing sign to keep going, and I really appreciate it.
We don't always realize the impact we're having on those around us. Yeah. And when you're living in your purpose, there's stuff around you, and people feel it, and that's the magic. It's this great big happy circle. Giving your time and your talents and your treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose, and giving from living in your purpose brings this profound joy to your life, right?
Absolutely.
Giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So, Kris, to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more. You're a math guy. See how this sounds. Capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power, and that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that.
Good.
I'm gonna have to quote that and put your name behind it for sure one time when I'm presenting.
All right, good stuff. So let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity of great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites, and then Kris, you tell us what they mean to you. Give us the first thing that pops into your mind, because it's called a lightning round. Okay, here we go. From Grandpa George in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There's plenty of money out there. They print more every day.
Yeah, that's just an abundant lifestyle, which is definitely something that I love to just promote, because that's how we should live our lives in an abundant state rather than scarcity, because there's nothing that we can't do. The only limitations that we give or have are the ones we put on ourselves.
Very good. From Ray Dalio. While you can have virtually anything you want, you can't have everything you want.
That's when I hear that, I hear sacrifice, because that's something that is going to take in life. You're always, at the end of the day, everybody's going to have to sacrifice. Some people sacrifice their happiness to make a dollar. Some people sacrifice $1 to be happy. So at the end of the day, that's just all that life is about. Sacrifice. You have to sacrifice for the things you want, or what you want is going to be the sacrifice.
Yeah, good. An African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah, I like that one for sure. I definitely.
I stole it from your website. I thought you might.
Hey, I'm familiar. I'm a little more familiar with that one. Yeah, that one speaks volumes. Honestly, there's a lot of things somebody can do. There's so many things somebody can do alone, but the collaboration is always going to be greater than competition. At the end of the day, we can go just so much faster, go so much further if you're trying to go together. It speaks for itself, honestly.
Yeah. From Coretta Scott King. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members.
Say it one more time.
The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members.
Yeah, I think that speaks to just people being, I think people being genuine and people being kind. And of course, you want to try to do things. You want to try to do things in life. You want to try to be things in life, but you want to try and impact the people around you and do right by the people around you. And when you're doing that, so that needs to be a focus as well, no matter what your goals are.
Awesome. From 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. But this I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver.
Yeah. So honestly, that the more when I hear that, I hear the more you give, the more you get. Because I think people get caught up in, again, going back to the scarcity mindset. They think they got to hold on to the things they have, and try to do things for, like, try to keep everything they have. But at the end of the day, when you're operating, we're out of a kind heart, and you're making sure that you're taking care of the people around you, then you'll be taken care of in the process, honestly.
I think that's right. The show anchor from Goff: whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
When I hear that, I hear start. You can't finish anything if you don't start it. So just get started on whatever it is that idea you have. Even if there's a fear there, go ahead and start it. Get it started and get going, honestly.
Right on. All right, folks, now it's your turn to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Kris Sherrod, please share some love with our brilliant broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Kris, I love your purpose to teach millennials about professional development, entrepreneurship, and how to create true wealth for themselves. And I admire your mission to help young adults gain a true understanding of the value of money and their own skill sets, and show them how to use those two assets to improve their own lives and their community around them for generations to come.
Absolutely.
And I'm super happy you shared your financial enthusiasm and wisdom on our show today. Would you take just a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
I just want to first thank you for having me. I think the movement and the meaning behind what you're doing is so much greater than that I could even speak for, that I could even really thank you for. But I think it's just amazing at the end of the day what you stand for and what you're promoting out into the world, because happiness is something that is sacrificed too often, honestly. And I think it's something that it's going to take people like you starting things like this and promoting it for people to really go after the things that they love and things that are going to make them happy. So I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you to you, honestly, first. And lastly, I just want to leave. I just want to encourage everyone to that. I'm a true believer that wealth and though can be defined by monetary bounds, I think wealth is really within the person, and that the person is the within the person is they have the wherewithal to be able to do and achieve any amount of wealth they really wanted to, because within them is the skill sets and the gifts that they can develop and bring to the world that create those amounts of financial monetary wealth. So I really am a believer that wealth is within the person, and I just push everyone to go after whatever those dreams are and utilize those gifts and those talents that are within them to aspire for whatever they want.
Right on. Thank you, Kris.
No problem.
I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like Kris Sherrod and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. Most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Kris Sherrod. Find him, friend him, go to thebreadwinners.net. It's all one word, THE, breadwinners with an S, .net, thebreadwinners.net. From me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So I want you to go to happyliving.com and take our happy quiz, because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it, and focusing attention on it inspires change and learning and improvement to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, right, Kris? Only takes a minute.
Absolutely. If that.
then I hope you'll give some thought about what we can do together, you and me, give some thought about what we can do together right now to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.